Chapter 8 is about measurement, and 7 sections we'll be discussing here. 8.1 is about linear measures, the American units, and you're most likely familiar with those. And then 8.2 are linear measures using the metric system. And then in section 8.3, we learn to convert between American units and metric units. And then we have some different kind of measurement, like weight and mass, and even some medical applications. And then also capacity, section 8.5, with some medical applications. And then the measurements of time and temperature. And last, we convert units of area. Section 8.1 is really very straightforward. And again, you probably know a lot of this already. The American units, you're probably familiar with the concept of an inch, that 12 inches are 1 foot, and that 36 inches is 1 yard, or equivalently that 3 feet equal 1 yard. And maybe not that much to use that number very often, but that 5,280 feet equals 1 mile. And you're probably familiar with the measurement of inches. You've seen in maybe a yardstick or an inch stick, maybe in high school or middle school. You used a ruler which had inch markings on them. So this should look very familiar. Let's begin with the conversion of yard into feet. And so here we are asked to convert 2 5/6 yards into equivalent number of feet. We know that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet from the previous table here. 1 yard equals 3 feet, or 3 feet equals 1 yard. So therefore we can say that 2 5/6 yards is 2 5/6 times 1 yard. And now we convert 2 5/6 into an improper fraction. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 5 is 17/6, times 3 feet, because there's 3 feet per yard. And now the 3 cancels against the 2 times 3, or 6, so now we have 17 divided by 2, or 8.5 feet. In other words, 2 5/6 yards equals 8.5 feet. Similarly, we're converting 8 yards into inches. 8 times 1 yard. And since 1 yard is 36 inches, it's 8 times 36 inches. And 8 times 36 is 288. So in other words, 8 yards is 288 inches. In the next example, converting 3.8 miles into inches, we do it in 2 steps. So 3.8 miles, we can write this as times 1 mile. And 1 mile is 5,280 feet. So it's 3.8 times 5,280 feet, which is equal to 3.8 times 5,280 times 1 foot, and that's equal to 3.8 times 5,280 times 12 inches, because there's 12 inches to a foot. And so the answer is then, when you multiply these 3 numbers, 3.8 times 5,280 times 12, that is equal to 768 inches. So 240,768 768 inches. So that's a very easy way of converting, one distance like miles into inches or yards into inches, etc. In the next example, we are converting inches into feet. So the question is, 72 inches is how many feet? We write 72 inches equals, of course, 72 inches divided by 1, and 1 foot is, 1 foot per 12 inches. So then 72 divided by 1 becomes 72 divided by 12, and the inches divided by inches times 1 foot. Of course, the inches cancel out, and therefore 72 divided by 12 is 6. In other words, 72 inches equals 6 feet. In guided solution number 10, we are converting feet into yards. So 24 feet equals 24 feet times 1 yard, and there are 3 feet per yard. So in other words, this now becomes 24 divided by 3, and then feet divided by feet times 1 yard. And since 24 divided by 3 equals 8, the answer is 8 yards. And number 9 is very similar. We write 72 inches equals how many feet? Well, 17 inches is equal to 17 divided by 1. 17 inches times 1 foot per 12 inches. And then we write this as 17 divided by 12 times inches divided by inches times 1 foot. So that's equal to 17/12 feet. The inches cancel out. So 17/12 is 1 and 5/12 feet. One and 5/12. And for number 11, we have 35 feet. To convert that into yard, we write it as 35 feet equals 35 divided by 1 feet times 1 yard per 3 feet. And then we have 35 divided by 3, and then times feet divided by feet times 1 yard. And 35 thirds, so 35 divided by 3, is 11 and 2/3 yards, or 11.6 bar yards. To convert 26,400 feet into miles, we write this as 26,400 feet. 26,400 feet equals 26,400 feet divided by 1 times 1 mile for 5,280 feet. And this then becomes 26,400 divided by 5,280 times feet divided by feet times 1 mile, and 26,400 divided by 5,208 is equal to 5 miles. So it comes as equal to 5 miles. Now you might wonder, why are we writing feet divided by feet and times 1 mile? It's just a visibility that the units cancel out properly. Feet against feet, which is of course equal to 1. And then remember that this is equal to 1 mile. The final answer is in mile. Do you have to write this? No, but it's a good idea just to keep track of the units and that the units cancel out that we don't want in the end, in the final answer. To convert 2,640 feet into miles, we proceed in the same way. So we have 2,640 feet, 2,640 feet equals 2,640 feet divided by 1 times 1 mile, which has 5,280 feet. So then we have 2,640 divided by 5,280 times feet divided by feet times 1 mile, and 2,640 divided by 5,208 is equal to 1/2 mile. Or we can write that in decimal representation, 0.5 miles. To solve number 14, we write 2 2/3 yards. We convert that to an improper fraction. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8, so it would be 2 2/3 yards equals 8/3 of a yard times 1. And so now we're going to rewrite the 1 8/3 yard as 36 inches per yard. Therefore, we have 8 times 36 divided by 3, and then yard divided by yard, times inches, 1 inch. And so 3 into 36 is 12, and 12 times 8 is 96. So that's equal to 96 inches. In number 15, we are to convert 23 miles of pedestrian path to yards. So we can write 23 miles equals 23 miles times 5,280 feet per mile. This then becomes 23 times 5,280 times mile divided by mile times 1 foot. or 23 times 5,280. And there's, for 1 foot, there's for 1 yard rather, there's 3 feet. So there's also the foot here. So then we have 23 times 5,280 times feet divided by feet times 1 yard, all divided by 3. So then the feet cancel out, and 23 times 5,280 divided by 3 is equal to 40,480 yards. And this is the end of section 8.1.